So it is Wednesday, July 1st. This is on trail day 21. We're leaving Eagle's Nest. There's a whole bunch of trails. If you go that trail back there, it takes you to a camp spot with a picnic table. And you also go that way to get to the privy. The privy wasn't nothing special. It wasn't too bad. It's 11:30, getting a late start again. And we're headed to Port Clinton, which I hear the lodging is closed there. So I may go to the Microtel, I believe in Harrisburg, which is like a mile and a half away. But we'll just see when we get there. It's fairly flat on the terrain, but I'm sure it'll be super rocky in places, so hopefully we get there 5, 6 o'clock, something like that. And then we're going to take a day, at least, possibly 2. I hadn't fully decided on that yet, so let's see what we see, and we'll get there when we get there. Well, so far, the terrain's been quite nice. I had a little stretch where it got rocky, but it wasn't, bad. You could still pretty much step between the rocks. I'd say we're probably a mile or so north of the Eagle's Nest. At least it's not super hot at the moment. It says it's 73 and there's a breeze blowing, so that's a plus. My ankle's feeling pretty good today. It still has a little soreness in it. I mean, the truth, you keep hiking on it, it would get to a point where it would get better sooner or later, but you stop hiking on it and it should heal up whatever is going on in there, and then you'll be good to go. I've had problems with my left knee. I hurt it years ago. It worked. And then I think I said earlier, a couple videos ago back, about how I had sprained my right ankle real bad years ago. So those were 2 issues I knew about. They say the trail will find the weakness in the body. And because my right ankle started hurting, it makes you adapt how you walk. And my left knee, it's not really bothering me, but I can tell it's got a slight more pain in it than normal. It had been bothering me a little before I even got on the trail, so the joys of getting old. I'm carrying too much food, which is fairly typical. You don't know what you're going to eat. Like them peanut M&Ms I started out with. Figured I'd eat those pretty fast and ended up carrying them for 19 days. So that was part of it too. I didn't know what I'd be in the mood for. I've been really digging the mashed potatoes with bacon bits and cheese sticks for dinner. I'll have some minute rice. I got 2 resupplies ago that I hadn't eaten any of. So, in this resupply, I'm just going to have to make sure I get some rice-oriented stuff. and not mashed potatoes, so I will eat the rice that I've been carrying for like 10 days now. I was carrying all this weight day after day after day. It's getting ridiculous. Especially, weight just sitting in your pack. It's like calories that you're not using, but you're burning calories to tote it around. Pretty much everything else in my pack except for my warmer stuff like a beanie and gloves and a jacket. Pretty much everything else I use on a daily basis, and I suspect here before too much longer I'm going to need the warmer stuff. I've been carrying it just because I didn't want to, well, for one, end up stuck out somewhere and it got cold. It got kind of cool last night. So you never know, the weather changes and you end up not having what you need. And then when I do need it, I'd have to get it mailed back to me, which would mean I'd have to get into a certain town, to a certain post office by a certain time. I just don't want to deal with that. Schedule-oriented people can probably do that well, but I'm not very schedule-oriented. Starting to get some rocks. If the terrain would stay like this, and it could get to town in no time. This is nice. New Roxylvania isn't all that bad. The only thing about Pennsylvania so far is there's been some views, some really pretty views, but it seems they're few and far between. So you're just hours and endless hours trudging through the woods on rocks and no views. And listening to the same birds sing, which I don't mind the birds sing. There was the one bird I was talking about singing a couple videos back there at the cabin. Somebody told me they thought it was a wren, so I haven't looked that up to compare it, but maybe that's what it is. They said it's little bitty birds. I know I hear them all day long from like daylight to dark. It's just ferns everywhere. An entire forest of ferns. Well, I knew the smooth terrain wouldn't last forever. I've been making good time now. This isn't too bad. Could be worse. At some point probably will be. Starting to get a little warm. Yeah, it looks like just rocks, rocks, rocks. So on the map we had a downhill that we just did a decent little downhill section, followed by a small uphill, and it looks like we're going uphill. So it is a little after 1, and going by the profile, should be a little over 3 miles in. So like 6 more miles to go, and after this uphill it's back to a kind of downhill grade all the way to town. But I don't know if that downhill grade contains a bunch of rocks or if it's like it was this morning. It'd be nice if it was like it was this morning, but we'll deal with it either way. We don't really have a choice. So that's the hill we just came up, all down through there. I know on camera it's pretty steep, and we're still going uphill. I typically, and it's worked pretty good. Might not can tell on camera all that good through the trees, but you can see the other mountain ridge. And usually the ridges are close to the same height. I mean, they're not identical, but if you can see a ridge line behind you, it will give you some indication as to how high up on the ridge line you're climbing you are. So then you'll know. Maybe you can see it there. So we're probably about 3/4 of the way up, judging by that ridge line. But we don't know if the trail goes up over the top of the ridge line or makes a turn before it gets there, follows it. All we know is we're going uphill. A rocky uphill. But this is the only one for today, so I'm not going to complain that much. So the trail's just right over there. I stopped here at this little camp spot and sat on that rock. Had some trail mix and lemonade. And there's deer tracks all over the place. While I was sitting on the rock, there was a big doe that come in right over here on the trail, checking me out, trying to figure out what was going on. And the camera on my pack was too far away, so I did have my phone handy, so I took a couple pictures before she threw her tail up and started blowing and run away. So this isn't too far from the end of the uphill climb. It's a little after 2 o'clock. I probably sat there for 35 minutes, something like that. Now I gotta get my legs and feet working again. Sat too long. Taking a break, getting the pack off, letting the sweat dry out a little. is nice, but you sit there too long and your body's like, whoa, we're done for the day. Not quite. We still got 5 miles, something like that. Well, it looks like we get a view. If we can stumble over these rocks to it. It wasn't in the AWOL guide, so free view is always a bonus. A nice little breeze. Not the most spectacular view in the world, but hey, it's better than nothing. Man, I'm beginning to seriously doubt the mileages in the AWOL guide. I swear, sometimes you're like 3 miles away, according to Vid, and you walk 5 miles, and you're still 2 miles away. I don't know how they come up with that. And it's hard to tell because it leaves stuff out, like the view, and it says, you know, cross the pipeline a couple of times. Then you cross other gravel roads and stuff like that that's not on there. So you never, sometimes, for the most part it's pretty good. Sometimes you have no idea where you're at. You know you're between here and here for sure, but all the other stuff in between you can't tell. Whew. I'm on the last stretch of the day. It's been going downhill for a little bit now. I can hear trucks and cars and whatnot out on the road, so I know I'm getting close. There's a cold beverage, a shower, and a meal I don't have to cook. Hopefully in my future. It's amazing the things you take for granted on an everyday basis. All of a sudden they're like the most wonderful things ever. We should probably do that in our daily lives anyway. Like out on the trail, I'm looking forward to a lemonade mix in my bottle of water instead of just water. Just find some little something to look forward to. So that's the southbound way. This is the northbound. It's the first time I've ever stopped going down a hill. It's pretty rough, but I can hear the traffic and all pretty loud now, so we are almost finished. If I was wearing regular shoes instead of these Chacos, this is probably where I'd be feeling my toenails jabbing through the shoes and tips of my shoes. Now hopefully there'll be a convenience store as soon as I come out on the road and get something cold to drink. And I'm not gonna hold my breath. I'm just glad I don't ever have to climb this hill. But from the profile, climbing out of here on the other side is going to be about as bad. So at least I get to rest a couple of days before I have to do that. So we made it to the bottom without busting our ass. There was one dude come by me and he's like almost like twirling his trekking pole as he's going down the hill. I'm like, man, if I tried to go any faster, this would turn into a slip and slide. We're walking on this nice bike trail. However you say that, river trail. So there was some more steps to the bottom. We're at the railroad yard. Looks like they have a train depot over there. I see the blazes over there on the pole, so that's the way we'll go. The smell of a train yard. Make sure I get past all these switch tracks before I cross over. I don't want to end up like Dude Man on the fried green tomatoes out here. This railroad is a wildlife sanctuary. Alright then. That's different. Oh. I swear I'm gonna time it just right in the day and enjoy one of these rivers. Doesn't look that deep. You see the bottom all the way across. That hole right there where the two meet looks pretty deep, but all that over there don't look too bad. Well, it looks like I'm splitting a hotel room, so I'm going to take an actual shower instead of a dip in the river. But we have made it to town. It is 5:15, so not too bad. Left camp at 11:30. took like a 35-minute break. Did 9 miles. There's a monument right off the side of the trail. Have to come check this out. Yeah. To the ones that were in service from Port Clinton. Doesn't say what war, could be all of them.